Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another Chart Nerd TA video. We're going to be diving into AI against USDT here on the weekly time frame. So the narrative for AI projects at the moment in the crypto space has been very, very strong since the coming towards the early stages of the end stages of last year in December, and for the past couple of months they've had a very, very strong narrative. The likes of Fetch, AGIX, Ocean, I believe, is another one. There's quite a few specific altcoins that potentially look like they're front running the markets at the moment. You know, they're outperforming Bitcoin, and it's very, very nice to see. Could it be the next sort of big sector like NFTs was within the last bull market? Is AI the next thing? Who knows? But this is one of the projects that I've recently caught my eye on. Again, it's called AI USDT. It is currently up. Again, nothing that I say in my videos is financial advice, guys. It's all educational entertainment purposes only. But again, it's been up around 640% off of its lows here in November, and it's got this really large impulsive move. Now you can see that we do have these sort of moves, and even within the bear market here, you had a 400% move. At this little rally here, you had roughly a 136% move. This rally here, where you came up to these highs, you had 190%. So again, these were declining over time. These were declining levels of impulsive moves throughout this bear market, and you can see you was basically forced down into a corner here, and you started to pop out, and you're sort of getting this V-shaped recovery here. But potentially, I think because you've had 600% off of this, again, not to say that it can't go up anymore, we will look at both targets here, but what I'm looking at for this project is potential great entry points for people that haven't had the chance or opportunity to actually catch these waves on these projects, because what does go up, guys, and it comes up quite fast, must come back down again, and there's key areas of resistance that we're going to be looking at moving forward. And potentially, again, yeah, finding out where we could be looking to get involved if you've not already decided to in the space. So I'm going to get in a couple of trend lines right now that I think there's two ways you could look at this, okay, and one of them is really, both of them are quite bullish, to be fair, and there potentially still might be some growth in this first wave, this large impulsive wave here, that I do believe is a potential wave one to a start of a continuation for projects within the AI space. But anyways, you could say that you've got this trend line here. Let me turn that to white quickly. So going off the wick high back in June 2021, you came up and you met resistance here in November. And what you could see that is going off the wicks, that this trend line was actually broken in January, and you could say that, okay, this is, and you've held it as support, and right now you're starting to take off. So, you know, has this project bottomed? Is it already looking to move impulsively? If you look at it from this point of view, potentially yes, it is. Okay, so that's one trend line that you could say you could be looking for confirmation. Now the second one is, I like to go from the candle closes personally myself to get confirmation here, and this is again on the weekly time frame. So what, again, this could be a relatively bullish pattern for the near short term, and this is where we could see potentially a still another, I think it's around a 30% move, a potential 30% move for AI on this large wave here, potentially running up into this area of resistance right here on this trend line, because you can see again multiple closes here on the weekly candles, and your first candle close where you started this trend was back in June in 2021. Again, we have moved up very, very impulsively, and I would say that, you know, buying big green candles is not normally the best idea. We do want to look for a retracement, but potentially these are the targets that I'm looking at here for AI to come up to, somewhere around this trend line. If the narrative continues and the projects do start to hold against outperforming Bitcoin, then these are the areas you could be looking for to retrace to. So we got to keep that trend line in mind. Now we do have levels of resistance above. You can see that this area we're currently running into and struggling to sort of push through right now is a strong area of resistance that was once support. Again, so you put in this wave here, you was coiling up, okay, you're holding this sort of area of support, you lost this support zone, and right now you've put in this impulsive low, and right now you've V-shaped recovered back into this zone that was once support, and potentially you could be looking to turn it to resistance. So unless we do fail to sort of get a good follow through and a good push through here, and start to close out back above this price range, this red sort of box that we're looking at here, then potentially you are starting to top. And if you do put in some sort of double top and lose this area of support, then potentially you could be looking for a retracement, and this is where it could offer a great opportunity. So if we do fail to come up to this trend line right now and put in that next 30% impulsive move for AI here, potentially we could say that we've put in a local top, and right now we're going to be retracing. So where could be a good opportunity or a good potential zone to get involved if we do start retracing back down to the lows that we came from in November? Well, straight off the back, you can see here that the 050 and the 0618, so this golden pocket, I always say in most of my videos, when you do start to come down and turn things into resistance and start losing the trend that you're in, potentially these are the areas that you want to look for support, because you'd have a low right here that you'd put in September. Okay, you've created an impulsive wave 1. If you come back for a wave 2 here to this golden area of support, fall back to this you had some sort of head and shoulders breakout here. Okay, that you've melted up. Okay, you've broken that technical target by a mile, but you did have some sort of head and shoulders where you sort of left shoulder, head, right shoulder, breakout, meet target, come back for support, break out of this trend line, and that's your go signal. I think for me, that's your go signal. If you start to see this white trend line taken out, where these weekly closes have been, for AI, you could be working really impulsively here. Wave 1 into resistance, wave 2 to the golden ratio for support, and if you do start to come out and tackle this white trend line, you've got impulsive wave targets, especially if you start to take out this local head of resistance and move that we're putting in now off of these lows. So again, just to clear that up for you a little bit, guys, what I'm potentially looking at here is a wave 1 potentially up to this trend line. If that's the case, we will have to move this fib. But if we don't and we fail to reach that, and we actually topped out right here and we failed to put in, we could be looking at a wave 1, a wave 2 to support, okay, on the golden ratio, start to tackle out here, and we can have some impulsive targets. So what we could then do to predict our move forward and predict where we could actually go if we break this trend line is use this low as an example for support and put a fib on at that level. So what I'm going to do here is get a fib on from that let me just get this one back on, sorry. So from this 0618 range, retracing back up to this local top, if we have peaked out, you could see that potentially we could be looking to run up to this target here, and this would be a wave 1. You come back for support on the golden ratio, and then once you start to tackle out of this high, wherever it may be, if you do start to tackle that, you've got these targets at the 1272 and the 1618 that you could be looking at in the near short term, and potentially you're starting to coil up and build an ascending level of support against resistance, and you're coiling up in a really big ascending triangle, creating this bottom foundation here, looking for a larger breakout. Now again, this is all a thought experiment. If we do, and we have topped out right now, and we are looking for this pullback to support, you could say that the breakout would then start to bring you back up all the way, starting to retrace back to these highs and these closes. And again, at this point, you would have took out this trend line as resistance, and you're starting to melt out, and you've got a wave 1, a wave 2, a potential wave 3, a wave 4 support, and a wave 5 back up to this ascending triangle target here for AI. So we do need to keep an eye on it, okay, guys? But this could offer a great opportunity if we do start getting rejected here. If we do start getting rejected at this point and fail to actually retrace up to this trend line, okay, and we have topped out locally here at resistance, potentially, as I said, you're looking for that pullback to support on that golden ratio range, which I do believe sits currently around the neckline of this inverse head and shoulders. So yeah, you can see, look, you've got this left shoulder, you've got a head, and then you have this right shoulder. You took out that resistance, and you've probably met the target. So let's actually have a look at that in a bit more detail. You did have this inverse head and shoulders here. So you had this left shoulder, the head, the small right shoulder, okay, and you coiled up, and the target would have been from there to there. Has that target been met? Just shy. Do you know what I mean? So you can see it from this point of view. If that is an inverse head and shoulders, and this is a bottom pattern that you've broken out of, this could be, again, as I've said, your wave 1, and then you pull back to your wave 2 for support, and then come back to the neckline, and this is where you're creating the impulsive waves, wave 1, wave 2, and you're looking to break out and run here for AI. So that could offer a great opportunity and a great pullback. I'm gonna, before I go, one last thing, I'm gonna get the actual targets on. I'm sorry, sometimes I get a bit lost of track. So we would be looking at, if we have topped out here, we would be looking at a sort of 60 to 70% correction, which would seem really, really fearful for a lot of people. But if we do start to top out and work our way down to these areas of support, okay, this could offer a great opportunity moving forward, and you can create this ascending support line where you've got a low, you've got a high, come back, get a higher low, and then as soon as you take out this high, you've got a higher high here, and this is where it's looking to get really impulsive. So these are the areas and the targets I'm looking to get involved if we do see a larger pullback on the larger time frames. And if Bitcoin does start to pull back even further itself, because it is quite overextended, then these are the targets. I know it seems very far away from where we are now, guys, but you've got to consider the 600% move, having a little 70% correction of that. Really, I don't think will cause too much damage. I think it will be quite healthy for the project to actually come down and find a certain level of support. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the content today. If you did, please do like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell from Chart Nerd TA. Take care, guys. Peace out.